system we talked about in our body?
The circulatory?
Something with nutrients. How do we get nutrients from our food?
The digestive system?
Yes, digestive system. Everybody remember now? We talked about all sorts of cool stuff that day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so before, make sure your notes are closed. I'm going to test your memory a little bit here. Someone tell me where digestion begins. Very first part. Jordan.
Your mouth.
Right, in your mouth, right? What's going on there? Maybe before you even take a bite of food, we talked about special starts happening before you even start eating. Not yet. We're not in the stomach yet. We're talking about what's going on in our mouth. Maybe remember we talked about when you're really hungry or if you smell something, your mom's cooking, it smells really good.
Your stomach will make a weird noise.
Okay, your stomach can start growling. But also remember we talked about saliva, right? How your mouth starts watering and your body's already getting ready to start that digestive process. Do you remember that? Okay. So, why is our digestive system so important? We kind of touched on it just a couple minutes ago. We get something really important. Zachary?
So we can break it down into smaller pieces.
Okay, good. We're breaking down our food, but why do we need that? What's it doing for our body to keep us going? Yes.
Giving nutrients to all our cells.
Good. Giving nutrients to all of our cells, right? Keeping our body running. So that's good. Okay. So our mouth starts producing saliva, and then what happens next? What's going to go on in our mouth? Jordan.
When you start to chew, it starts breaking down the food.
Okay, your saliva and the chewing is breaking down your food into smaller pieces, right, so that you can swallow it. So what happens after that? Where's our food going after our mouths? Going somewhere. First, esophagus. Very good. And we talked about something really important with the esophagus, about how your food, it's not just gravity, right? There's something special about your esophagus that helps your food travel. Emily? Right, very strong muscles. That's a really important thing we talked about, how the muscles are pushing your food down. Really good. I'm glad you guys remember that. So, what do you think would happen if we didn't have that acid in our stomach? This is something we touched on. A couple different things might happen. Is that correct?
No, if you didn't have the stomach, your food wouldn't break down and go into your
Okay, we wouldn't be able to break down our food. Really good. There's something else we talked about. Not only about breaking down your food, but something else the stomach acid does. It's really important.
Without stomach acid, you wouldn't be able to digest the food.
Right, we wouldn't be able to digest it or break it down. There's something else. Something about germs that we talked about. Maybe. Devin?
The stomach acid will be so strong that it'll kill any germs.
Right, good. Maybe not any germs, because you can still get sick if you eat something that's spoiled or it's been out too long. But it does help kill bacteria that's on your food, so that's really important. It helps us to keep from getting sick, right? Okay, I'm really impressed. You guys remember a lot of stuff. So there were two organs we talked about that were pretty special, that they help the small intestine in the digestion. They do something kind of different. What were those two organs? Do you remember, Caleb?
The stomach.
We're past the stomach. Think about, we're continuing to break down the nutrients, and they're doing something special to help break down the different kinds, the sugars and the starches. Something special was happening here. Special liquids.
Your pancreas?
Good. Pancreas was one of them. There's one more. Yes.
And the liver.
And the liver. Awesome. Very good, guys. Okay, so the liver actually produces that liquid. It has a really special name that we talked about that helps break down our food that the small intestine can't break down. Does anyone remember what it's called? Someone I haven't heard for a minute. Do you remember, Catherine? Starts with a B. It's that special liquid it produces to help break down our nutrients in the food. Need some help? Caleb.
The pancreas? No, the bladder.
It's not an organ, it's the liquid liquid that the liver produces. Remember, it had a special name that starts with a B. All right, let's try one more.
Bile.
Bile. Remember, guys? The bile helps break down those nutrients that the small intestine can't quite break down itself. So the pancreas and the liver are creating those extra liquids to break down those nutrients. Okay, so kind of hard one we talked about. How does the digestive system work together with the circulatory system? Remember, we kind of had a little discussion about that, how they work together, how they interact, and why it's important. Jordan?
Because when your heart pumps the blood and when you eat the food, the food gets, like the nutrients on the food goes in your bloodstream and gets it on the cells.
Okay, good. So your circulatory system is helping to move your cells, right? And then our digestive system is giving nutrients to those cells. So it's all working together to keep our body running. Really good. So let's just take a look at this really quick. I'm really impressed with you guys. No notes or anything today. So, and obviously y'all wrote all this stuff down already, so you don't have to worry about that. So we talked about digestive system helping to break down the food so we can have energy, grow, and then repair if we get injuries, things like that, right? Digestion begins in the mouth, and we'll touch on that. Yes?
What is that, like, little thing that looks like a brain on your ear?
Back here, it's a salivary gland. That's what helps you make saliva. So when your mouth gets watery and you get hungry, that's where all that's coming from. Okay, then we talked about the esophagus and how it's a long, stretchy tube with all those muscles, right? It's not just gravity that's pushing our food down. It's actually our muscles. And we talked about even if you stood on your head and there was some water, it's still going to go into your stomach, right? It's not just going to stay in your mouth if you swallow it. Okay, and then also in the stomach, really important on the muscles too, because we have the stomach acid, but also our stomach's going to help churn the food up and actually make it into that liquid so it can continue to go through our body. Okay, and there's also something else I want to see if you can remember in the small intestine. Once the food starts to leave our stomach, it goes into the small intestine, and there's a very special thing in the small intestine that helps take those nutrients to all of our cells. Do you remember, LJ?
Finger-like things inside of it.
Good, the finger-like things. You remember the description. Can someone remember what they're called? Bryson?
Villi.
Villi. Really good, guys. Really good. All right. And we talked about the pancreas and the liver and the villi. And there's that nasty small intestine picture. I'm sure all of you guys remember the real small intestine. All right, and then we have the villi. So, now that we reviewed that, and I'm super glad you guys remembered all that stuff, so it's really good. I have an activity that we're going to do to kind of just illustrate the digestive system for us. So questions, Everett?
What is that? The
The crypt? I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not 100% sure. I can Google it for you, though. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, the activities. So, let me get two people to help me pass the ball. Kayla and Christian. You just want to make sure everyone has one of these, please. And make sure everyone just has one zip bag. And I just want, when you get your baggie, just leave it on your desk. Don't open it or anything yet, because we need to listen for instructions. Thank you. Go ahead, you can write your name on your paper. There's a little spot up top for you to write your name.
We don't have one.
You don't have no papers?
Yes, we do.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he gave us two.
Oh, oops.
It's all two.
cups do have liquid in them, so please be very, very careful. Let's watch what we're doing with our hands so we're not spilling anything. Mr. Jones is not going to be very happy if we make a mess in here, especially with me. So go ahead and make sure you're writing your name on your paper for me so we don't have to worry about that later when you pass them in. Everyone has 2 sheets of paper and then a Ziploc baggie, right?
Yes.
So like we talked about, digestion actually starts in our mouth, right? We have that saliva that helps us break down our food. So even before we actually start chewing our food, our saliva is interacting with it and breaking it down and making it softer so that we can swallow it, right? Have an extra?
Yeah.
Thank you. So what we're going to do, when I tell you to start, you're just going to break off a small piece of the cracker. Do not put the whole cracker in your mouth. You will regret it. Small piece, and you're actually going to place it on your tongue. You're not going to chew it. You're just going to let it sit there for about 2 to 3 minutes. And we're actually going to see how our saliva interacts before we even chew or do any kind of mechanical digestion at all. Yes.
What are we going to do after it in our mouth?
Well, when we're done, you can swallow it, but we're going to give it a few minutes first, okay? So go ahead and break off a small little piece. And make sure just you're really paying attention to how it feels, if the taste changes. Just really kind of focus on what's going on. Okay, go ahead. No, I'm going to time you. No chewing. You can close your mouth because that'll actually make your saliva produce more, but no chewing. Focusing on what's going on in there, observing the changes that you can feel and taste.
It's making me softer.
It'll work better if you close your mouth. Your mouth will get dry if you have it open. You want your saliva to start working on that first bit of digestion. Alright, we're going to take about 2 more minutes. I know. So much silence, it's difficult, right?
I've gone the next 2 minutes. So I don't.
You're going to have to ask me when you don't have crackers in your mouth because I cannot understand you. Let's wait till we're done. We don't want to affect the process. Keep a controlled environment.
Yeah, but it's hard. Doesn't happen.
All right, let's just do 30 more seconds.
It's nasty. It's soggy now. I don't want to eat it. Pieces of freaking cereal. It's a reaction to
Just small bits of paper size, right? All right, you can go ahead and swallow your probably now soggy and tasty.
Yeah.
So I want you to look on the first page.
Pieces for breaking.
All right, let 3 questions that just kind of want you to put your observations, so go ahead. Let's take about 5 minutes to work on those yourself. So I want you to make your own observations, and then after that we'll do some group discussion. Make sure you're writing complete sentences also, please.
Are these unsalted or salted?
Unsalted. Oh, they don't taste as good.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we're writing. You should be trying to answer all 3 questions. Talk about your observations. Just make sure we're talking about the activity. Go ahead and talk with the people at your table. Your person, you want to turn around and work with them.
Oh yes, I
Alright, boys and girls, let's go ahead and refocus. Face forward. Alright, so someone raise their hand who wants to share with me one of their observations. Okay, so it didn't taste very good, but how about how it changed? How did it feel? Did the taste change? What was happening as your saliva was interacting with it? Nathan? Okay, so it started to get soggy, right? So even without us chewing, our saliva played a really big part in starting to break it down. Caitlin?
For number 2, I put, yes, it tasted good at first, then when I swallowed it, it tasted disgusting.
Okay, so it started to taste bad. There's something special too. Did anyone notice maybe how the taste changed? Maybe not just that it tasted bad, but at first it tasted like just a regular cracker, but then maybe did it start to taste a little different to you, Jordan?
Well, at first it started to taste like a hard cracker, But then as it sat in your tongue for a while, it got soggier, so it started to taste like wet and soggy cereal.
Okay, did anyone notice that maybe it started to taste sweeter? Did anyone? No?
Kind of.
No,
Kind of, not really.
Well, maybe we didn't do it long enough, but you should have noticed, because pretty cool thing, your saliva actually starts to break down the sugars and the starches, and it actually makes the crackers start to taste sweeter at the end. Maybe we were trying not to taste it at that point because it was kind of gross. All right, so let's think. How does saliva help us digest our food? We talked about this a lot, so someone just summarize that for me, LJ.
Saliva breaks the food down.
Good. Breaks the food down, helps it so that we can swallow it, and get it in our esophagus, and keep the process going, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It kind of dissolves our food.
Good. Helps dissolve it. That's a really good word. Dissolves. Making it softer. Good. Those are all really good observations. Okay, so the next part, I'm going to do it with you guys. So I want you to just make sure that your eyes are up here when I'm giving you an instruction so you can make sure that you're on the right step. So go ahead, take out your extra bag, and just kind of put that to the side. That's a just in case. And then make sure if you have a little bit of your cracker left from the last part, you can put it back in your bag too. And then seal it up, make sure it's closed.
My cracker fell broke.
We're not going to eat it, so you don't have to worry about germs. You can put it back in the bag. All right. So this part is actually going to show us what happens in our stomach. So we talked about the saliva and the breaking down food in our mouth, and it's going to travel down our esophagus into our stomach, where it continues to get broken down. So what were some of the things we talked about that happens in the stomach that we need to be keeping in mind? Zachariah?
It turns you breaks down the food so it's
Right, the muscles are churning the food and helping break it down, and then there was another part also. Do you remember this? What else is in our stomach? We have the muscles helping to churn the food, and there's something else we talked about that's in there. Helping to break down the food, killing the germs and the bacteria like we talked about. Stomach acid, right? Very good. Okay, so first let's think about, we're not going to have whole crackers in our stomach, right? We're going to chew them up and they'll be dissolved a little bit by then. So go ahead and start to break up your crackers. Don't just crunch them out, don't smash it. We don't want to make any holes in the bag. Just do it carefully. And just kind of think about how small the pieces have to be for you to actually swallow food, right?
So, like, when you swallow it, this is like how little it can be, like, when you digest it and like all that.
Probably even smaller if you think about how much you chew food before you swallow it, right? And then also, we haven't added the stomach acid in here, but there's no saliva in here like you would have in your mouth, so it actually already kind of wet too. Okay, so our food is now chewed up down our esophagus, in our tummy. Now this is the part where we need to be careful and pay attention. So let's have everyone's eyes up here. Okay. So what we're going to do next, done crunching, chewing. All right. Go ahead and open your back up. Make sure you're careful not to spill anything. And we're going to add our stomach acid.
Oh, I thought we were going to drink that.
Oh, we're not drinking the soda. I'm sorry to disappoint. But go ahead, carefully, maybe put your bag on the desk like this so you have some support. Pour it in there. Then you want to seal it back up. Tightly, make sure there's no holes.
Like this.
Don't, that might be too accident prone. Let's just pour it in there the easy way. So, don't squish it yet. Let's just let it sit for a second and see what happens. And soda is actually a really good representation of our stomach acid because it has all that carbonation. Yes.
My mom told me that if you like get some Coca-Cola and you like pour it in a bottle or something, and you put some chicken in it, and for like some days, the chicken will be dissolved.
Yep, it can actually, soda is not good for you. I'm sure you all know that. It's not very healthy for you, and it's bad for your teeth. It breaks down that acidity, it's bad for your enamel, it'll give you cavities.
It will soft really quick.
Sorry?
When I put it in there, it like automatically.
Yeah, it got soft really quick, right? So now our acid is in there. Now let's go ahead and do our churning like our stomach muscles and give it a little swooshing and churning around. Breaking our food down. It's that liquidy mixture, right?
I don't think I want to.
Don't worry, we're Alright, eyes up here, class. Boys and girls.
There's a hole in mine. I think there's a little hole in my left.
If you have a little hole, go ahead and put it in your other baggie so you don't have a leak. Okay, so I need everyone's attention, please. So, someone raise their hand and show me what do we notice now about what kind of mixture we have in here. Taylor.
Oh, it's like throw up.
What about, think about the texture.
Oh, it's soft and mushy and soft.
Yeah, it's almost kind of liquidy now, right? So it can continue getting digested. Okay, so go ahead. Turn to the second page in your packet. One with a little stomach on top. And we're going to take about another 5 minutes to silently, independently answer those questions and put down your observations. Turn back around, make sure we're talking about your observations, what you saw, what you felt, and the questions on the sheet, okay? And Bryson, you can just turn around and work with
I put an acid. It smells like
Alright guys, let's go ahead, wrap up your last spot there. Let's turn around and get focused. You can talk about these questions. Actually, I will come around with a trash can so we can get rid of your
Chelsea said she was gonna keep her bag and stuff it on the back and forth of Chelsea said she was gonna take her bag and throw it on the back like I grew up. So she could go home.
Never do that. Well, you can try it at home too.
I'm gonna throw that.
What is crackers?
Just don't blame it on me if you make a mess. Your parents Alright guys, we need to get quiet now. Focus. Everybody turn around. Let's look up front so we can discuss.
Is there a difference from using Ritz crackers than saltine crackers?
I don't know. That would be a good thing to try. Maybe find out the differences. Devin?
Yeah, do you have to use Sierra Mist?
No, you don't have to use Sierra Mist. You could probably use anything because it's the carbonation and the acid in it that makes it work. You just chose that because it was clear, so you could be able to see better what's happening to the crackers. Okay. I need everyone's attention, please. I'm not going to ask again. Number one, what did you observe when we added the soda to the bag? So what were some things that you saw, or you smelled, or you felt? Catherine?
I thought it looked squishy and smooth and liquid.
Okay, liquidy, that's really good, right? Because we need to get into that liquidy mixture for it to continue through the digestive system. Kayla?
It felt like a big, huge bag of applesauce, and it was like liquidy and stuff. And
Okay.
Weird, mushy.
So good. Liquidy again, that's a good one. Zachary?
They said it got soggy and mushy and it still smelled like crackers.
Okay. Oh, it's soggy and mushy. Let's see, one more. Ellen?
It when the crackers became soft and it smelled sweet.
Good, so they got soft. And I know a couple of you actually said that they smelled sweeter, so maybe even though we didn't taste it, we started to notice that here in the second part. So what does the soda in the plastic bag represent? We talked about this, so everyone's hands should be up right now. Bryson, please. Exactly.
The soda stands for the acid.
Stomach acid, right? What does the stomach acid do? Two things. Jordan?
The stomach acid breaks down the food.
Breaks down the food. One more thing it does. Christian? Breaks down our food and it does something else. That's what we talked about. Maybe something to do with germs and bacteria, that it helps our bodies and we don't get sick as much. Remember we talked about it 2 times today.
It's lower our bacteria and make sure we don't get sick.
Helps kill that bacteria if maybe we eat something that has some germs on it. Okay, so what do you think would happen if we didn't have stomach acid? Right, we couldn't digest our food. Not as well, at least. I'm sure maybe we could still chew it and we'd have saliva, and all the right organs, but once it gets to our stomach, if it can't make that liquidy mixture and continue to move on, we're not getting those nutrients, right? What else? Nathan.
I said we would die because our cells won't have food.
Okay, right, because if it was to the point where we weren't getting enough nutrients to power our bodies, ultimately we might die, right? What else? Okay.
You would probably get sick because it's not getting rid of the germs.
Very good. We would get sick more, right? Because if we ate something that had germs on it, we already wouldn't have that acid helping to kill the germs. All right, so what's going to happen after the food leaves our stomach? We have that liquidy, soggy mixture that we've talked about. So now that the stomach's taking care of that, it's churned it up using the muscles and the stomach acid. What happens next? Kayla?
It goes to your small intestines.
Very good. It goes to our small intestine. And what's happening in our small intestine? Jalen?
It gets the nutrients, then it goes to your cells and food.
Okay, good. It's getting the nutrients and it's sending it out to our cells. What is in the small intestine that's helping to do that? To get the nutrients, Jordan?
Those finger-like bumps called villi.
Very good. Finger-like bumps called villi are getting those last little bits of nutrients. Now we can't forget the other two organs that are helping as well, helping the small intestine break down the fats, the starches that it needs a little help with. It's creating those special liquids. What are those organs?
Pancreas and liver.
Pancreas and liver. Awesome. And the liver produces what kind of liquid? Devin? Bile. Awesome job. Awesome job. So go ahead, pass these papers over the way you normally do.
I was gonna say, like, if you didn't have a stomach acid, when you crunched up and then saccharose episode in it, it won't hurt.
Right, it wouldn't help give it that liquidy sogginess. It might still be sharp or crunchy. Make sure you're passing your paper over like you usually do. Thank you, thank you. Alright, we're going to take a look at the body machine video one more time because I know last time we were a little distracted. So I want everyone to be focused, facing forward. Do you have a DVD of this? Because it doesn't look like it's loaded all the way. I don't want it to stop happening.
Okay, so you've done your trout wool pet and the prawns of carrot.
That's not right.
That's not the right way.
Is this not how I get to it?
That one.
I thought you could remove it.
Go to the now playing section at the top. Very top. Click that little arrow underneath it.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD. For the first time ever on DVD and video.